From snowboarding to taking in the sights of the festivals hosted worldwide, there's no denying that there are plenty of activities to keep Sims busy. Is Mt Komorebi worth building a house in, or should you be packing your skis up? Let's find out. Welcome to this week's episode of Livable or Leave It. I'm your host, Cher, and we're ranking every single world to see whether or not you should live there or leave it. Our ranking will be based on several factors like housing, affordability, amenities, and more. After the feedback on our Willow Creek episode, the producers have adjusted the livability scoring. For full transparency, this is how we decide whether or not a world is livable or worth moving out of. All of these categories add up, and from there we get the letter grade and the final result. We're here to see if this world keeps you happy or if it's time to put it on the market. Now that that is addressed, let's turn our attention to Mt Komorebi. Mt Komorebi is a Japanese world featured in Snowy Escape. It features a snow sports resort, rental lots, as well as a rich culture that you can discover throughout the world. The focal point consists of the mountain, the namesake of the world. This beautiful mountain draws millions of Sims every year to experience the charm and thrill of the mountain-based snowy sports. When we return in a minute, we'll dive in, or should I say ski in, and figure out if you should call this world home, or should you be moving your household somewhere else. We'll be back. Bro, did you get Sims 4 Snowy Escape? Nah, my mom said it costs too much. Not if you get it on Instant Gaming. Sims 4 Snowy Escape. It's chill and it's cheap. Only at Instant Gaming. Locals have enjoyed the healing hot springs of Mt Komorebi for centuries. Nowadays, Sims also have been enjoying the new modern snow sports resort in Yukamatsu. Over time, the region has become a hotspot for tourists looking for a vacation that's both relaxing and adventurous. With so many visitors, there's been a lot of changes to the rolling forests that surround the mountain. Wakaba is a small neighborhood that features 2 residential lots, 1 rental lot, and 1 empty lot. This neighborhood is relatively young and bright. This is where you'll find sleek new homes and a community-focused town center that features Mt Komorebi's official mascot, Yama-chan. There's plenty to do here, from swimming in the local river to enjoying the Festival of Youth. Here's a fun fact: the name Wakaba translates to young leaves in Japanese, a nod to the fact that this neighborhood is fairly young. Shigeru, a local elder, stopped to impart some wisdom about Sembamachi. He said that Sembamachi is where the roots of Mt Komorebi truly live. We are blessed with trails through bamboo forests, a temple for wishes, and shrines that answer your echo with patience. Sometimes, if you work quiet enough, you will meet the sprites of the forest, the guardians said to reward only those who treat the land kindly. Our people honor them as we honor our ancestors at the cemetery nestled between the forest and the temple. This is why Sembamachi is not just a neighborhood, but a living spirit of tradition, where the Festival of Light lights the night, and even the rocks themselves invite level 3 rock climbers to challenge themselves and climb towards wisdom. The forest sprites, the little guardians as Shigeru called them, can be found while hiking. You'll have a higher chance of encountering them on a night hike. Some Sims have reported hearing alien sounds that sound similar to singing when they're nearby. These sprites can be collected or wished upon. They might grant you a small gift or provide a temporary positive moodlet. They are said to be based on Tera Buzu, a traditional Japanese doll believed to ward off bad weather. More on the hiking. There are 3 locations to explore: the temple, the mountain shrine, and the bamboo forest. At the cemetery, there are 2 tombstones you can view, photograph, mourn at, or leave a gift. The final neighborhood is Yukamatsu, the coldest part of Mt Komorebi. Here you'll find 2 vacation lots, 1 onsen bathhouse, and 1 empty lot. Yukamatsu is named for its snow-covered pines, but there are other beautiful natural wonders, like the climb to the mountain's highest peak. This year-round snowy escape has something for everyone, including the Festival of Snow. There are hiking trails. You can hike to the cave statue, where you can make an offering of good fortune, the historic shrine, or the natural cove, where you can find dirt piles or crystals. This neighborhood has a total of 5 slopes, with 1 slope for sledding. There's 1 bunny slope, an easy, intermediate, expert, and ludicrous slopes. It is here where you can go skiing, snowboarding, or sledding. Surprise, surprise. On top of that, there are 2 rock climbing walls, one for beginners, and another located at the very northern part of the neighborhood for Sims who are at least a level 3. This is where you begin your mountain climb excursion. You'll also find a Yama-chan statue at the foot of the bunny slope. In Yukamatsu, there is access to vending machines and a stall. This is the only neighborhood where Sims might freeze to death, even without seasons, and you'll experience weather like falling snow or thunder snow. All 3 neighborhoods are absolutely stunning. Wakaba is a calm, peaceful sanctuary. Unfortunately, there isn't much to do here, so some Sims might find it boring or underwhelming. Senbamachi has an easy, natural charm, especially during the Festival of Light, where the lanterns float along the river. If you're not much into snowy sports and prefer a calming hike along beautiful trails, this is the neighborhood for you. Finally, Yukamatsu is for snow sports. It's a snow sports paradise, perfect for a vacation or adventurous sim. The snow sports can feel repetitive, but the scenery is almost always perfect. Considering all of that, the world and neighborhood overview gets an 8 out of 10. Mt Komorebi's households are very family-driven, with strong ties between generations, ambition, tradition, and cultural expectations. All of the households are interconnected, which makes the community feel more alive. In Wakaba, you'll find the Aito household. This household includes a married couple, Megumi and Naoki, and their 2 children. Megumi grew up in Senbamachi and was a gold medalist skier, which is part of the reason why she wants to provide a similar upbringing for her own children. Her ex-boyfriend recently moved back to town with his wife and children, and yeah, that's a thing. Naoki is a former medalist himself and a calculating businessman. He has a controversial vision for Mt Komorebi that includes more tourism, more modernization, and of course, more profit. If you paid for the ability to track fame and reputation, you'll notice that both of them are celebrities. Both of their children inherited their parents' athletic talent, but neither is particularly interested. Kiyoshi is too focused on his crush, and Nanami just wants to be a kid. She also is a kleptomaniac, which a therapist might suggest is her acting out against her parents' high standards, or maybe her wiki page might say that. Going back to Megumi's ex-boyfriend, Akiyama household recently moved away from the city life to the quiet town where Kato was raised. The commute is a sacrifice, but Kato and Jenna hope the close-knit community and beautiful natural atmosphere will make it worthwhile for their family. The Nishigatake family consists of an elderly married couple, Shigeru and Sachiko, and their granddaughter Kaori. Rumors say this family serves as sacred guardians of Mt Komorebi, and honestly, that's kind of true. Shigeru is furious over the Aito's family development plans, while Sachiko feels warmly towards Megumi due to an old friendship with her mother. She also knows that Kaori has a crush on her son. Kaori moved in with her grandparents after losing both her parents, and since moving here, she's discovered her love for the slopes. Despite appearances, this quiet town has its fair share of drama. The exes create tension. Kato was surprised to learn his childhood sweetheart, Megumi, had returned to Mt Komorebi. Even though both want to leave the past behind, the pieces of his broken teenage heart are still tender, and for Megumi, memories of an old flame are distracting. From the outside, it may appear that their current partners are oblivious to past relationships, but that's not entirely true. Jenna confessed in a note she wrote, "I took the train to visit the Seiche. My husband doesn't know. Ever since we moved to Senbamachi, I can tell something is off. The leaves are beautiful, and it's much quieter. I think the fresh air is good for the children, but is it good for my husband and me?" She signed off with her initial J. The message can be found in a bottle on the beach in Tartaso, entitled "1,000 Leaves, a Nod to Their Neighborhood." Naoki proudly told me about his world by saying, "What I love about Mt Komorebi is that it was the first world where Sims could really live outside of that usual Western setup. You see it in the architecture, the festivals, the onsen rules, stuff that's just part of everyday life here. Most of the neighbors are Japanese, which makes sense, though there are some families like Kato and Jenna's who mix things up a little bit. Honestly, I think living here is so cool, like a place where culture is celebrated but still evolving." As Naoki mentioned, unfortunately no BIPOC Sims are living here, so if you're looking for a variety in Sims, you won't find it. Technically, everyone here is bisexual and cis-romantic, except for Kiyoshi and Kaori, who are aromantic. Despite this, no one is in an openly queer relationship. The only elders that exist in this world would be these two, but their teenage granddaughter live with them, so no other elders are living on their own. Everyone else here is in a nuclear family structure. There are no single parents, there are no blended families, no adopted children, nothing like that. Let's talk employment. Out of the 6 eligible adult Sims, 4 are employed and 2 are unemployed. 2 of them work as salary people and the other 2 work in business. Both of the younger couples work together. They're co-workers. Fun fact, everyone living here, except for Yama-chan, has the chopstick savvy reward trait. Overall, it earns a 9 out of 10 for community feel. Even though there are only 3 families that are living here, the drama is present. You can participate in it or keep it low-key, but it's woven into the fabric of the community. The culture is richly represented, however, there isn't much diversity regarding skin tones, family types, dynamics, or romantic relationships. In Mt Komorebi, there are 17 lots. The lot size range from 20 by 15 to 50 by 50. If you're a budget-conscious sim, you won't find a traditional starter neighborhood. That doesn't mean you can't live here if you're just starting out. The 2 empty pre-built houses are either just above the 20,000 simoleon price point or just under it. The empty lot in Wakaba is perfect for a sim looking for a plot to build their own home, or for those hoping to go from rags to riches. Vacation rentals hover around the high 500s to low 700 simoleons per day, with an average price of 652 simoleons per day. Going back to progression, there isn't any. There's no starter neighborhood and no follow-up neighborhoods to move into based on wealth. This can be good or bad depending on your perspective. On the plus side, there isn't a class system based on wealth. No one is better because of where they live. It makes the world feel more like a community than a segregated space. On the downside, Sims who prefer a traditional progression path, like what you often see in video games, might be disappointed. Jenna, as you know, she's a sim who recently moved here from the city, shared her excitement about some of the well-known lots. She said, "If you're like me and you care about who's who in the online world of The Sims, then you probably already know that the designers of these houses include popular simmers such as James Turner, Lil Simsy, Simlissy, and Dilligrisy. It's literally the first world where every lot was designed by a well-known designer. I mean, Evergreen had a few popular designers, but this is the first time every lot got that treatment. There are good opportunities here, that's for sure. Whether you're looking to buy, build, vacation, or evict a family and move into their home. The big downside is that the opportunities are limited. The majority of lots already have a purpose, and that sort of makes it harder to simply move in if the available ones aren't up to your liking. For that reason alone, Mt Komorebi earns a 5 out of 10. Mt Komorebi has a lot going on regarding access to amenities. It's focused on leisure, tradition, and outdoor activities rather than heavy urban infrastructure. There are public amenities available for all Sims like the onsen bathhouse in Yukamatsu. This is one of the area's biggest highlights, literally one of a kind. Sims can relax and unwind here, but be sure to follow bathing etiquette or risk a tense moodlet. This rare community lot functions as a wellness hub and is worth visiting, even if you're simply coming to hit the slopes, something we'll talk about here in a second. Every neighborhood has dedicated festival spaces, as festivals are a huge part of the world's culture and tradition. These free festivals are not only a place to hang out with friends or meet townies, but also serve as a cultural enrichment and recreational events. The festivals include Festival of Light in Senbamachi, where lanterns float on the river and fireworks light up the night sky. Festival of Snow in Yukamatsu, celebrating all things snow with snow sculptures and deep snow play. Festival of Youth in Wakaba, where you can give blessings to young Sims and watch children show off chemistry, artistic, and movement skills. All festivals include unique food stalls, vending machines, and items to purchase. You might even meet the world's mascot, Yama-chan, during one of them. Nanami, a skilled skier, agreed to talk about the local snow slopes with us. She told me, "Okay, let's talk about slopes. Skiing, snowboarding, rock climbing, they're the big sports here at Mt Komorebi. I'll admit, the animations get a little repetitive, but if you love the vibe of the snow and just want to chill and learn, it's still a lot of fun. Plus, rock climbing is everywhere, and when you finally join a mountain excursion, that's when it really pays off. Not that I know. I haven't been on one. I'm just a kid." Nanami was correct about the beloved sports, but she didn't really get into how they weren't done the justice that they deserve. If you enjoy the same non-interactive animations, then you'll have fun. If not, well, not so much. Moreover, sledding can only be done on the bunny slope, and there is no skill tied to it. If you're looking to fish, you'll need to go to a different world. There are no public fishing spots and very few collectibles like rocks. Don't think there's any frogs, and there's some harvestable plants. Simbamachi has a small community garden if you want to plant something, and there are some plants growing naturally around the area. Transportation is minimum, other than the cable car in Yukamatsu, which travels to the top of the slopes. The cable cars are fast, almost like teleporting, and mostly reliable. They also add a lot visually to the neighborhood's vibe. Even though you can't use the vehicles for driving around, you'll notice they drive on the left side of the road, one of the few worlds in Sim Nation where that's the case. As of November 10th, 2020, vacation rental lots became a lot assignment that could be used on any lot in any world in Sim Nation. This was a few days before Mt Komorebi was made public, but not every world has vacation lots available to rent without any Sim intervention, you know? Typically you'd have to assign that yourself, and you don't have to here. There are already 3 of them. There's certainly access to amenities here, just maybe not all the amenities you were expecting. It's more so about the vacations, fun, and snow sports, you know, with the ski slopes, hot springs, festivals, lounges, and hiking, but it falls a little short on the practical side. This is why it earns an 8 out of 10 for access to amenities. If your sim is into adventure, it's paradise. If they need a library in the same neighborhood, maybe not so much. Education is accessible from Mt Komorebi, but it's a rabbit hole. If you're a teenager, you can go to high school in Copperdale at Copperdale High. School-age Sims living in Mt Komorebi will wear uniforms going to school. Similar to other worlds, Sims can join careers or work from home with freelance options. A career tied to Mt Komorebi is the salary person track. Healthcare is non-existent. If you're pregnant and want to give birth in a hospital, you can. It's just a rabbit hole. Other than that, there are no official healthcare services from doctors or nurses or any other healthcare provider. Unfortunately, this is one of the worlds where healthcare would be beneficial. While the TV crew stopped in at a festival, we knew we had to talk to the world's mascot, Yama-chan, who offered great advice about hiking. Yama-chan's tip of the day: hiking trails are amazing, but the wildlife isn't always friendly. We're talking bats, hornets, centipedes, and zappy little nekimushu. Pack some adventure gear, repellents are cheaper, pain relief works too. Because if those critters get ya, boom, you're going straight home. And missing the fun is no fun. There's a sign by the hiking trails that can inform you about the weather conditions if you're in Yukamatsu, and which wildlife you might encounter during your hike. As Yama-chan mentioned, if you get attacked by any wildlife and you're not carrying adventure gear, you will automatically return home. Each type of wildlife has its own corresponding piece of adventure gear for both repellent and pain relief. You gotta keep in mind that depending on weather conditions, you might slip on ice and injure yourself. That is a possibility. With all that being said, education and employment meets the bare minimum, the standard. It doesn't excel, but it's supported. Mt Komorebi is not a safe haven. No sports can be dangerous, the wildlife can attack you, and in general, if the weather is freezing, you might slip on some ice. Despite all of that, it still gets a 6 out of 10 for health, education, and employment. Beth Sterling, our healthy living expert and Evergreen Harbor's civil designer, is back to talk all things eco-lifestyle. She started off by mentioning the park. Now, I'm all about efficiency, but Mt Komorebi's only public park is not just small, it's uninspired. A couple of tables, one set of monkey bars, and grass that doesn't even match the surroundings? That's not design, that's cutting corners. And if there's one thing I can't stand, it's lack of effort. Beth noted that if you've chosen to pay for the service to view the world's eco-footprint, you'll see that all of the world's regions currently have a neutral footprint. This could easily become green if a few households install items like solar panels, wind turbines, dew collectors, and more. Beth continued, "Listen, I live for a world that supports outdoor living, and Mt Komorebi delivers. Hiking, climbing, snowboarding, it's like an extreme sports brochure come to life. But let's be real, no collectibles and not a lot of plants. It's giving half-finished expansion pack. Despite that, there is still plenty to do outside." One activity that Sims must prepare for is the mountain excursion. This event tests whether or not you have what it takes to lead an expedition to the peak of Mt Komorebi. You must hone your climbing skills, pack equipment and food, and check the mountain's conditions. Not everyone makes it to the top. Those who are well prepared and reach the summit are rewarded with breathtaking views and bragging rights. The climb costs 200 simoleons, and you'll encounter 3 secret lots where you can rest and take a breather. Weather conditions are unpredictable, so preparation is key. The rock climbing skill is a must, as falls from great heights can be fatal. Something that got Bess excited about was the idea of a brand new feature. You can't talk about healthy living without mentioning lifestyles, and Mt Komorebi gives Sims the chance to explore them. There are 16 to choose from, and you can have 3 at a time. The concept is interesting, but in practice, it doesn't add too much, and there hasn't been any improvements since launch. Even though lifestyles excite her, Bess made it clear that they fell a little flat. Lifestyles are a series of traits acquired by performing certain actions. They influence your behavior and emotions as you interact with your environment. You'll need to maintain these lifestyles by performing interactions that align with them. Mt Komorebi excels in healthy living. It's a way of life here. Everything from snow slopes to hiking trails encourages you to leave your home and embrace outdoor living in adventurous ways. The world might not have a green eco footprint, but it does deserve an 8 out of 10 for healthy living. And Bess Sterling's seal of approval. As previously mentioned, depending on weather conditions, you might encounter some unsavory weather. It might not be traditional natural disasters, even still, you might get not so seriously injured or even freeze to death. These safety hazards become even more apparent if you paid for seasons with weather events like dangerous blizzards. Of course, depending on what you paid for, there are optional safety hazards you can assign to your lots. One of these lot challenges include crime heist, where burglars will target your active lot more often. Which leads us to this well-known fact. There's no physical police station in Mt Komorebi, even though there's a criminal career. Fortunately for residents, the criminal career is a rabbit hole. So no visible crime. If you're being robbed, you can call the police and they'll help you out. You might also want to consider purchasing a burglar alarm to help prevent burglars. Fires can occur and calling the fire hall will send firefighters to help. Buying a fire alarm is useful as it automatically alerts the local fire hall. Just as a side note, there are no physical fire halls in this world, so you cannot visit them. There's no physical location. If you purchase a fire sprinkler panel, a sprinkler will automatically spawn and extinguish the fire. Be aware of your surroundings, especially when trying to unjam a vending machine. If something is stuck, it might not be worth the risk. Vending machines can topple and kill you. The layout of Mt Komorebi is logical. The neighborhoods flow naturally towards the mountain. From the side of the mountain, a river leads to the body of water at the south end of the world. A nearby railway with an active train route exists, but no Sims ride or disembark, even though Jenna talked about it in her note. So just think of it as a set dressing. The world feels connected because of visible infrastructure like cable cars, signage, community boards, and distant trains. The map layout is logical and pleasantly laid out. There are some base game concerns here, plus some new ones, yet it's still very safe if you have the right tools. This is why Mt Komorebi earns a 6 out of 10 for safety and infrastructure. When we return, we'll cover aesthetics, pack independence, and calculate the final score. Don't miss out. Your mom doesn't want you in it, your teachers can't stop you from joining it, the government isn't ready for it. But you're built different. You're ready. Join now. Mt Komorebi is often considered one of the best looking worlds in any season. There is a mix of traditional and modern Japanese architecture that makes the world's history apparent while still clearly showcasing forward-thinking modern designs. Kaori was more than happy to talk aesthetics with us. She said, "Yeah, the world's visuals are stunning, but what really gets me is the height differences. It's subtle in most neighborhoods, but in Yukamatsu, you really notice it. Winding pathways, steep hills, cliffs. Sims talk about how realistic it feels, and I just think, well, duh, it's real. Gosh, I love this place." Anywho, as you wander throughout this world, visit the vending machines, rock walls, slopes, mountaintop, and of course the festivals. And you'll notice it might start feeling a little small. Aesthetics here are pleasing, there's no denying that, yet it becomes a little repetitive despite the neighborhoods feeling large. With all of this considered, Mt Komorebi earns a 9 out of 10 for aesthetics. It's visually stunning in any season. Being here feels like a breath of fresh air, and I guess it doesn't hurt that I'm literally breathing in fresh mountain air. It's visually unique. Nonetheless, after being here for a week, a season, maybe even longer, it starts to feel a bit curated or small, especially once you visit all of the festivals and experience all of the activities that it has to offer. Is this world self-reliant? I would say so. Of course, buying more of those bells and whistles that you might have seen online improves the world for sure. Participating in seasons is a great upgrade. This way you'll experience weather throughout the world and not just in Yukamatsu. Another slight improvement might be being able to get together and join clubs, because then you could have a club dedicated to snow sports, which would be fun. Other than that, this world feels more or less complete without any paid upgrades. For pack independence, Mt Komorebi earns a 7 out of 10. It works, it's just improved with other packs. We've seen it all, from the snowy escape that is Yukamatsu, to the beautiful hiking trails within the bamboo forest in Senbamachi, to the empty town center of Wakaba. Does the adventure and thrill from the various snow sports make Mt Komorebi worth living in? Or do the risks outweigh the positives? Death by vending machine, death by falling, death by freezing, wildlife attacks, injuries from sports. Is Mt Komorebi livable, or should we leave it? The final verdict is, it's livable. It's exciting, full of spirit and drama, but there are some risk factors. That's why Mt Komorebi earns a B tier. It's situationally good. Mt Komorebi shines with its breathtaking scenery, is packed with unique amenities like hot springs, ski slopes, and hiking trails that give active Sims tons of different ways to live and play. But outside of its cultural charm and outdoor activities, the world brings about new risks that can injure or kill Sims while they're going about their leisure activities. If you're adventurous and active, this is the world where you can embrace those lifestyles and live out every day like it's your dream vacation. If you're looking for something that's a bit more geared towards a warmer, more indoor life, then don't choose to settle down in Mt Komorebi. Another world reviewed, another decision made. Catch us next time on Livable or Leave It, where we ask, is this world worth it? Or should we return to the world selection screen?